Why is Jerusalem so important? Hi, I'm Joel Rosenberg, founder and editor-in-chief of All Israel News and our sister website, All Arab News. And I'm here in Jerusalem, looking over the old city of Jerusalem. This is one of the oldest cities in civilization. This is a city that has been conquered, reconquered, liberated, reconquered, reliberated time and time again throughout history. It is a story that is told in the Bible. It's a story that's told in many other books throughout history. Jerusalem, interestingly, is not ever mentioned in the Quran. Many Muslims believe it was alluded to as the mosque in the corner, the Al-Aqsa Mosque, but it's never actually specified. The term in Arabic for Jerusalem is Al-Quds, and it is not a term that's ever found in relationship to the city of Jerusalem ever in the Quran. Although Muslims do consider this their third holiest site, their most sacred sites, after Mecca and Medina, both of which are located in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The Bible, however, does refer to Jerusalem over and over again. Over 800 mentions of Jerusalem in the Tanakh, what's known as the Hebrew Scriptures, the Old Testament, and the Habrit HaChadashah, the New Testament that Christians believe in and follow. Over 800 mentioned, and that's just the name Jerusalem. Then if you add other names that are symbolic and are part of the story of Jerusalem, Zion, for example, and other names, then you even have more examples. It is the most historic, most interesting, most controversial city in the world. Why? It would be easy to say, I don't know. I mean, honestly, you'd say, well, why? Look, Jerusalem is a beautiful city. I live here. I'm a resident of Jerusalem. My family and I came to Israel in 2014. We became citizens of the state of Israel. Dual citizens. We're citizens still of the United States, the country of our births, and of Israel as well. We've had two sons of our four who have served in the Israeli army. And we consider this a very important country and a very important and special city. And it's a beautiful city. But, you know, we've been to some other beautiful cities around the world. This is not a city that's on the highest mountain in the world. It's not even the highest mountain in Israel. There's not a beautiful river going through it. There's almost no water. There's a spring. We know about that in the Bible. There's no major river going through here like the Potomac River in Washington or the Seine in Paris, or the Thames in London, or the Moskva River in Moscow. No, nothing. Look, there's no river. Okay? We don't have oil here in Jerusalem. We don't have gold and silver and diamonds that we've been digging out of the ground. What is it? It's not on a beach, right? It's not on a coast. We don't have the beautiful Mediterranean. And what is it about Jerusalem that makes it so special? Why have kingdoms and emperors and dictators and conquerors of all kinds tried to take this city for themselves over and over and over again? We see it all through the Bible. We see the Egyptians wanted it. We see the Babylonians wanted it. We see the Greeks wanted it. Obviously the Romans and so many others throughout history. And of course, every Arab country in the region has wanted it. Right? Jordan and Egypt and Syria. And look, Iran wants it. Iran wants Al-Quds, although they have a different name for it in Persian. But everybody wants it. And we keep coming back to why. Why is this the most controversial city in the world? Where is all this bloodshed and conflict coming from? Israel considers this their capital, and we have since 3,000 years ago when King David founded this city as the capital. It was a city before, but he made it the capital of the Kingdom of Israel, with the northern tribes and the southern tribes. And it has been conquered and reconquered since. I'm going to give you my take on it from the Bible, and I hope you'll understand where I'm going with this, because I don't think there is an obvious answer. I mean, every leader, conqueror in the world who's tried to get it has had his or her own reason. But it doesn't explain all of this over so many thousands of years. So here's my take. The reason that people want this city so much is because God chose it for himself. The Bible says that God chose the city of Jerusalem. He chose Zion for himself. That made it special. And so everybody else thought it was special because God said it was special, right? We see the story in the Bible, for example, where the son of King David, King Solomon, when he builds the temple here, the first temple to worship the one true God, his fame of his wisdom, of his incredible wealth, of his power, and of the peace that he has established throughout Israel and the region, that fame goes throughout the entire world. And an Arabian monarch, the Queen of Sheba from the southern tip of the Arabian Peninsula, she actually travels here to meet with King Solomon because she'd heard so many rumors about King Solomon's wisdom and wealth and power and peace and insights. She wanted to meet him. She wanted to bring him gifts, and she wanted peace between Israel and Arabia. So this is an amazing story. So this city is special because God said it was special, because it's special to him. For me, that's the only reason that I can come up with that really answers this question. Now, let me make it a little more clear. Again, if you're not a follower of the Bible, if you're not a Christian or a Jew, and you don't believe this, I understand. But I want to explain to you from an evangelical Jewish person's perspective, from the perspective of the editor of All Israel News, exactly what I think biblically. One of the things that's interesting in the Bible is in the New Testament, in the Gospel according to John, verse 10 in chapter 10. Okay, so John 10:10. Jesus says a very interesting sentence. He says, "I have come that they may have life and have it abundantly." Now, that's an interesting sentence, but this part that comes before it is also interesting. He says, "The thief comes to rob, kill, and destroy. But I have come that they may have life and have it abundantly." Now, as Jesus is talking about this, the thief, the robber, the enemy in this story is Satan, okay, the direct opposite, the opponent of God. So Jesus is saying in one sentence, one verse, very concisely, Satan wants to rob, kill, and destroy, but I, Jesus, the Son of God, the Son of Man, the Messiah, I came that people might have life and have it abundantly. So you see a complete diametric opposition between Jesus and Satan. Okay? They're 180 degrees opposite of each other. I'm not saying that they're equal. They're not. Jesus has all power and authority in heaven and on earth, and Satan does not. Satan is a created being. Jesus is the creator. But my point is, Jesus is explaining that God's objectives are 180 degrees opposite of Satan's. Now, what's the implication of that? That's John 10:10 is not a verse that people usually come to talk about the Arab-Israeli conflict or the issues of Jerusalem. But walk through the logic with me. If God's approach to life is 180 degrees diametrically opposed, a photographic negative of Satan's, then what are the implications? Well, God decided to choose the Jewish people, right? That's why we're called the chosen people, to bless us. Okay? So Satan would have the exact opposite approach. He would say, "I'll choose you also, but I'm going to curse you," where God is going to bless you. Right? God in the Bible says, "I'm going to give the Jewish people, the nation of Israel, the land of Israel, where I'm standing now." Right? Satan, therefore, has the exact opposite approach. He's going to take it away. God describes Jerusalem as Jerusalem, the city of peace. So Satan says, "Fine, I'll make it a city of bloodshed." The Temple Mount, which you can see where the dome of the rock is, and then the gray dome there is the Al-Aqsa Mosque. These are the Muslim holy sites. But that spot there, that's where the first temple stood that Solomon was responsible for building, and that's where the second temple was built as well. And the Bible says there'll be a third temple coming eventually in the end of days. Now, God says that spot he's going to choose as holy, and he's going to make it holy to his name. Okay, the Temple Mount. Satan says, fine, I'm going to desecrate it. Okay, so over and over and over again, God is making choices. He's going to make Jerusalem the center of the Jewish people and a city of peace. Satan says, no, I'm going to make it a city of bloodshed. God says, I'm going to have a temple there. I'm going to make it holy to my name. It's going to be wonderful. That's where people can worship me. And Satan says, no, I'm going to desecrate it. I'm going to destroy it. I'm going to ruin it. When you understand the theology of John 10:10, and the theology as it extends out in both the Old Testament and the New, it begins to become more clear why the enemies of God have stirred up so much hatred to rob, kill, and destroy this city. That's my explanation. Maybe you have your own. I'm Joel Rosenberg, founder and editor-in-chief of all Israel news and all Arab news. Shalom and salam from Jerusalem.